Ever wonder how real change happens? Ubuntu Narratives podcast uncovers the extraordinary stories of ordinary Africans building a more just and equal world. In each episode, we sit down with a change maker who reveals the triumphs, challenges, and practical steps that you can take to make a difference in your own community. Tune in and find the inspiration to act. Welcome to Season 2 of the Ubuntu Narratives podcast. In this series, we explore the realities, challenges, and possibilities of gender equality in African workplaces. Tune in and find your inspiration to act. Welcome to the Ubuntu Narratives podcast. I'm your host, Christine Butegwa, and today we're exploring the future of work, working with young people in the workplace, specifically Millennials and Gen Z. Across Africa, we see Millennials and Gen Z reshaping the workplace culture, bringing fresh values around diversity, around technology, and around mental health and work-life balance, to name a few. However, both Gen Z and Millennials are faced with challenges and biases around entitlement, perceived lack of work ethic, and workplaces that are slow to adapt to their expectations. So in today's episode, to help me unpack these dynamics, we're joined by two distinguished leaders, young leaders, Shamim Walusimbi. Hi, Shamim.
Hello, Christine.
Welcome. Shamim Walusimbi is a dynamic and award-winning human resource specialist with over 10 years of experience as a strategic and visionary talent acquisition, employment advocate, and employing branding leader. And she's an international speaker. She's skilled in designing and facilitating inclusive workplaces and that drive awareness, behavior change, and measurable organizational impact. During her tenure on the HR Managers Association of Uganda Governing Council, she advocated for the institutionalization of HR through her advocacy of the HR bill. And she is a passionate advocate for inclusion and youth empowerment, where she plays key roles with initiatives like the Girls for Girls program, empowering women in leadership. She is dedicated to nurturing young leaders and creating generational impact through effective training and mentorship. So again, welcome, Shamim. We're happy to have you on the podcast.
It's an honor to be here. Thank you very much.
My second guest is another distinguished young leader, Sheirat Namayanja. She's a gender and youth advocate with over 6 years of experience advancing sexual and reproductive health and rights, gender justice, and youth-led advocacy in Uganda. She is a Her Voice Fund ambassador with the Y Plus Global, where she supports meaningful engagement and leadership of adolescent girls and young women in Global Fund and related national processes. Sheirat's work focuses on strengthening the capacity of adolescent girls and young women-led organizations to participate in decision-making spaces, advocate for their priorities, and influence HIV and SRHR responses. Welcome, Sheirat.
Thank you.
Happy to have both of you on the conversation.
Same here.
So we've given a bit of your profile, your professional work profile, but I want us to know you as individuals. Tell us a bit more about your, who you are at a personal level. We can start with you, Shamim.
Thank you so much, Christine. And it's an honor to be featured in this podcast. So I am very passionate about seeing people grow, seeing people develop. I do have my own HR firm, which has enabled me to perform the duty and what I'm passionate about, which is human resource management. The organization that I run is called Utopia, and it's a state of mind, basically, by definition. I'd want people who are struggling with career decisions or trying to make, maybe they're in between opportunities, you've lost a job, you're trying to decide if you're going back into employment or into business. We support people going through such transitions, but not only to support the people, but we also support organizations. We have found that the way of work has transformed. There have been new developments, and we are constantly researching on how we can support organizations in their talent management agenda. On top of that, I serve on the board of the Africa Human Resources Confederation, which is the umbrella body for all human resource associations across Africa. And I'm honored to be in charge of their public relations. This has given me the opportunity to speak at international conferences and transform lives through my voice, through my ideas, and just enabling me to be a vessel through which other HR professionals can communicate across Africa and beyond. Thank you very much.
Oh, and you forgot to say you're a mom.
Yes.
Yeah, our listeners may want to know
Sure.
more about you as a person.
As a person.
Yes.
Absolutely. So I'm a mom of two beautiful girls, Anisha, 7 years old, Amara, 2 years old. I'm my wife. My husband is called Saleh. He's also a shareholder in Utopia. And yes, I have quite a number of colleagues around me who are, I would say, my support system, my parents, my siblings, my very good friends. Yes, that's what really holds me together.
Yeah. Yes. Oh, nice. Maybe before we go to Sheirat, you're like you've said, you're an international speaker. You're representing the HR field across Africa. So you've been a leader and you're a millennial. But I wanted maybe to hear from you, is there a significant person who has shaped you to be who you are at such a young age? Who, is there a specific person or a moment that shaped you to be who you are as a young leader?
Yes, indeed there is. And those who are close to me and those who are listening in might know this story. I would say back when I was in university, I was going through what they call a quarter-life crisis. Some people
What is that?
Some people go through a midlife crisis usually when they're transitioning out of employment to retirement, and there's that state of confusion of what they have, what purpose they have in their lives, and how they're going to transition without a stable source of income or a routine that they've been used to. So at around 2023, that's the period within which most people go through the transition out of university into the job market. So as I was going through that transition, I was lost. I was totally disturbed. I didn't have direction. I didn't have purpose. So at that point in my life, I thought I'm either looking to start a family or looking to pursue further education. So I thought I would start with trying to pursue my further education. And that's when the person who I would say was my turning point came into my life. She was called Mama Nora. I went to her to ask for a scholarship to pursue my master's degree. And at that point, she told me she didn't have, but she gave me an opportunity to volunteer at her workplace, which was the consulate. I was in Malaysia at that time, studying my bachelor's degree. I had completed my bachelor's degree, and I had a night shift job at a contact center. So at that point in time, I had quite a number of hours to spare. And I thought to myself, why not support this lady? She was working in the Ugandan consulate in Malaysia. And I thought to myself, this could be an opportunity to gain experience. So as I was working diligently for her, showing up daily, not asking for anything in return, she eventually declared to me that she did have a scholarship. And I was really surprised. And once she handed me that envelope, before she let go of the grip, she told me, but I'm giving this to you on one condition. What's that condition? I asked. on condition that you use this qualification to transform lives, transform mindsets, because I know there are so many people who are struggling. They're living in survival mode and it's not helping them and it's not helping the people that are connected to them. So do you promise that you're going to use this qualification to change lives, change people's mindsets? And without even understanding what it truly meant, I agreed. Unfortunately, 2 weeks later, she passed away.
Oh dear.
And it was a sudden death. She died in the night. And by the time I actually started pursuing my MBA in HR, I was driven by this purpose that every opportunity, even this opportunity to speak to the audience over there, I have to try my best to fulfill that promise. Yes, so I hope through this conversation, someone out there will transform either their mindset, or if they're having a bad day, hopefully listening to this conversation is going to make them feel better. Thank you.
Oh, thank you to Mama Nora, and may her soul rest in peace.
Amen.
And she got you to where you are because you've transformed many lives already.
I try my best, yeah.
And Sheirat, so, we've talked a bit about your work life and the impact you've made as a young leader. Tell us a bit more about you at a personal level.
So, Sheirat is a student in her final year. Can't wait to graduate. Excited. I'm a lover of everything that has music. So that is my pastime. Stressed, music. Sad, that is everything for me. But I'd say I love reading. I am a very passionate advocate, even in my own personal life. Once the conversation does start and it sparks a conversation that I would want to have there and then, we're stopping whatever we're doing. We are having a more deeper conversation because I love talking to people about a lot of things, especially if it is about growth, it is about understanding different perspectives. I did literature, so every time is almost, people call them arguments or disagreements, but every time for me is a chance to have a deeper conversation with someone and just kind of understand how you're both different or both similar. What else is there about me? I don't know. I'm pretty simple, to be honest. I'm an introvert, which people don't believe.
Oh, you don't appear like you are.
I could be in my house for a full month with no contact whatsoever, and I'll be okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, every now and then I like socializing because you learn a thing or two, even if you're not actively speaking. I'm an observer, so I like observing people. Even when I'm out by myself, I will observe everything and everyone around me. It's kind of like a sport or a hobby, but it's nice. Yeah.
Okay. Is there a significant personal moment that shaped you to be who you are? You are young leaders so early, you're 25 now, you got into activism at 10, you were saying.
Yeah.
Who shaped you to be who you are?
I would say I came into advocacy and activism and the whole world of, just always representing people. It wasn't a choice at first. I'll be very honest. At 10, you don't really have choices. You're told what to do and you follow what you're told. But I'd say everyone back then that believed that this 10-year-old can deliver a speech to the president, can deliver a speech in a meeting or a conference, definitely pushed me to be who I am today. I'd like to believe that even having just one person believing you, even if they do not necessarily think you'll do everything else, but even if it's just one thing and they say, oh, I think she can do it, that having that belief back you up is one of the most important things to ever have. And while my advocacy started through music, dance, these were things that I loved doing, but it also got another layer on top of it, being able to educate people, but also put messages out there. On top of all of that, I enjoyed reading the statements that I had to present. I enjoyed having to be in bigger rooms and people actually listening to me. Because as a girl who has been raised in a Muslim household, girls don't necessarily always have a lot to say. Given we sit at the back, it's always the bigger people having conversations. So as a young girl, having that experience and being able to sit in a conference hall and people say, oh, she's going to speak. At first, of course, I remember the first time, they told me to introduce myself and I was very excited. I'm in primary. I don't even remember what class I was in. But then I told them I want to be a model when I grow up and a lawyer. And I also want to be on the TV. So people were laughing at me because obviously, what kind of 10-year-old is that ambitious? But you'll be surprised to know I have done each and every one of those things somehow.
Fabulous. So your dreams came true.
Somewhere. I've been on a runway. Yes. I have been on TV. I have been on radio. Sort of kind of do lawyer work, even though it's not being a lawyer. Somewhere, somehow. It's just the experience of being able to do everything that I wanted to do, even as a child. And I'd like to think 10-year-old me is also a reason as to why I am where I am today. Because she believed in me. And every time I'm doing something, I remember, oh, that baby girl is at the back cheering me on.
Amazing. I think, amazing for both of you. You're both very different. But what I've heard from you, two things is, one is the importance of even one person believing in you, right? And how that shapes us as we move along the trajectory of our lives. And then the power of changing people's lives by what we do, by just being ourselves. And that's what you're doing. So, we're glad that you're here and you're inspiring a lot more people. Now, when we talk about work, especially with young people, millennials and Gen Z, let's start by helping our audience to see what are the characteristics of these generations. Because currently in Africa and globally, all 4 generations are actually in the workplace. Baby boomers, up to the 60s, then the Gen Xers who are, 50s and to the 40s. Then the millennials are also in the workplace, the 30s, and then the Gen Zs are in the workplace, in the 20s. So we have a time where actually all these are in the workplace. And maybe for our viewers who may not know what, we throw these terms around. Can you tell us, what do you think are the characteristics of millennials? So maybe we can start with that. What are the characteristics of millennials that we should know about?
All right, thank you very much. I'm going to speak from my own observation. And I'm sure that you can share what you see as well in the workplace. So I see that most millennials are characterized by having a lot of ambition. They're over ambitious, and it stems from a point of wanting to see the end to your success early enough. We don't want to have to wait till we're 45, 60, the age of retirement to have reached the top of the career ladder. We'd want to see what that career ladder looks like now. And it has come with a lot of friction because we've found that those who are at least starting to enter their 30s, looking to apply for head of department jobs, managerial jobs, or even, for example, my case, consultancy. So previously, it was known to be a step-by-step approach to career growth. You have to start as an assistant, then an officer, then a senior officer, then manager, and however, based on my experience, I personally quantum leaped. I started as an administrator, then my next job was a manager, then my next job was global, as at handling a global team. Then currently I'm in my own consultancy. So previously, you had to go through that trajectory and retire into consultancy. So there's a little bit of a sense of threat towards millennials, but we are quite confident in our abilities, So that doesn't really deter us. There's also a characteristic of instant gratification. We want to be recognized for the work we have done in real time. If we have performed well in a particular task, we wouldn't want you to tell us at the next appraisal. We want to hear
after a year.
Yes, after at the end of the year party. We want to hear it now. Want to know that let's say you've done 10 tasks and those 10 tasks are going to result into a promotion because I deserve the promotion. Yes, it's a bit different from how the Gen Zs are, because right now with the age of social media, everything is happening so fast, and you're able to even see the definition of success right in the palm of your hand. So it's something that you crave, you want to have it instantly. So I would say that those are the main characteristics of millennials. And we're just looking for purpose and growth at the end of the day.
Okay, so looking for purpose, growth, and you leapfrog, you're not going linear, like our parents' time. Now our parents were more like the baby boomers and so on. They were more about working in one place and then you retire, right? But from what you're saying, the millennials you don't have to follow that path. To get where you want.
Exactly.
Oh, good. And Gen Zs, what would you say are the characteristics of the Gen Zs?
Well, as Gen Zs, we are curious individuals. We're extremely curious. We want to understand how everything works, why it works, and if I do it this way and it still works, then why are we still doing it the old way? We are dream chasers that are very aggressive about our dreams. When we want something, we will get it. It doesn't matter when. We will put in the work. We're not that patient, I'll be honest, but we are patient when it counts because we know if you put in the work, you do get your results. But I also like to believe that Gen Zs are very explorational and flexible. We adapt where we are and we will fit in regardless. Even if it seems like an impossible situation, somehow we will adapt to it and we will be flexible enough to accommodate anything that comes along with it. We don't necessarily take everything. We don't take anything for granted, which is contrary to what people believe. Most of the times they think, Gen Zs are very entitled. We believe we're supposed to be in spaces. We believe we're supposed to be in spaces because we work to be there. And so if I deserve to be somewhere, I'd like to see myself in that position and not me being told, you're still too young to be doing A, B, C, D. I am not too young.
So it's not entitlement.
It's not.
You've actually worked to be there.
Exactly.
You've gotten,
But I don't know why most people believe we have everything easy.
Yes.
They tend to believe, no, you're a Gen Z.
Exactly.
Just go to social media. But then that is also the other thing. We're beautiful informers. If you scroll on your TikTok, half of the people that are doing information are doing it in terrific different ways, but you still get your info. Even if we are not out here screaming into the microphone, it will be a get ready with me, but you'll get all the information that you need because we generally just connect with things and we love what we do. Finally, I think a general characteristic of all Gen Zs is we are very passionate, regardless of what we're doing. If we love something, we love it. But we also do not believe in doing things just one way. If there's an alternative, I will do that. Because at the end of the day, we want to reach one common goal. So if my way works and your way works, all is well. We can still work harmoniously, which people do not believe is something that works.
That's interesting because most workplaces, they've set a system. This is how you do it.
Exactly.
But Gen Zs will question, why should I do it like that? The main thing is to get the result.
Exactly.
Interesting.
We also question a lot.
Yes.
Which people do not like, unfortunately.
Yes.
But unfortunately, we're curious.
Yes.
We were born curious.
Yeah. And I think another thing about Gen Zs is also you've mentioned it, the creativity and the entrepreneurship spirit.
And the innovation.
Because you've grown up in a very tech savvy continent. It's not just globally, even in Africa itself. We are now we've caught up in the digital space, and all the young people now, that's their way of, engaging with the world.
Yeah.
So if we take those characteristics into leadership and the workplace, what is the leadership approach that you see millennials have? As a young leader yourself, what's the leadership approach you bring that maybe other previous generations didn't have, and how are you different, for example, from the Gen Zs?
Okay, I would say that millennials are more collaborative. Would want to see that everybody is involved, because we know what it means to be left out. We know what it means to be given directions, thrown out directions. So would want to see that everybody has a say. You'll see a lot of surveys going around, a lot of pulse checks. I've seen most organizations using vibe checks as an approach to just get an understanding of how someone feels, how someone perceives a particular action. Yes, I would say that that's one of the most common leadership styles. And millennials also look to see that they get input from each and every particular area. A lot of research is used. We want to see how can we use the institutional knowledge that everyone claims is very important, but use it as a principle. Then add a little bit of innovation, add a little bit of what is going around, what is trending, and see how to harmonize it all. Personally, I also use a lot of social media, because right now everything is online. Most people are using digital platforms to communicate and influence. My personal tool is LinkedIn. I know that most people want to understand someone's character before they make a decision to either trust you or follow you. So I am very big on LinkedIn. I have almost over 40,000 followers, but they're organic.
Yes.
And how I've been able to achieve that is just by sharing authentically, getting people to understand that I want what's best for you. I want you to grow. And that's what I truly want deep down. So just using it as a communication tool, eventually it builds a character. It helps people to understand who you truly are, such that when you go to pitch for an opportunity or you go for a job interview, the first thing they're going to do is Google you. So they'll basically identify your leadership style based on your character, and how they'll understand your character is through your history, what you've been posting, what you've been resharing, what you've been commenting on. So I've seen a lot of millennials leveraging on media and technology, social media and technology, to build their personal brands, to influence decisions and to spread a message. Yes.
Yeah, I think millennials have been quite good at that. There were, I think, when the social media space came in, the millennials were really the ones who used it to their benefit. In our time, it was more Facebook, and and now people look at, this is old.
Definitely.
And then it LinkedIn, but then Gen Z has different spaces for social media. In fact, LinkedIn is too old now.
Yeah, but it will never grow old, honestly.
What are the spaces that Gen Z look?
We wouldn't say LinkedIn is old. We just feel like LinkedIn is very constraining.
Yes, exactly.
You go onto LinkedIn and the first messages, the first post you see, I am excited too. You scroll. I am excited too. I am pleased to.
Thrilled.
Why? Why do we feel the need to constrain ourselves into a box of only sharing what we want to share that way?
Yeah. What are the ones that Gen Z are
You might as well just say congratulations to me, this, that, and that happened. It is also a very acceptable way. I do not believe we all have to say, have to be sharing information the same way. But then at the same time, LinkedIn is a bit depressing.
It's more professional. It was set up as a professional network. What
that would have been
do the
okay.
Gen Zs use now?
That would have been okay. But LinkedIn if you don't have a job, first and foremost, do not scroll on LinkedIn.
Yes.
If you feel like you're behind in life, do not open LinkedIn. Because all the time, everything you see is someone getting a congratulatory message, an acceptance email, starting something, sharing something good. There's rarely people on there being their authentic selves and telling you, yes, I failed this, but I'm still going on. So that is something that
struggle.
Exactly. You need to connect the two. You can't tell me everyone on LinkedIn is happy. It can't happen.
Yeah.
There's people that are still struggling genuinely, either looking for work, they're being put out of work, they're in a toxic workplace, but they just have to keep on posting professionally. Everything you can post professionally, but still be realistic. Yeah. And I think that is one of the challenges that we as Gen Zs face, because we are very realistic. And half of the time we're told we're too blunt. But if a cup is a cup, I'm going to call it a cup. So I just feel like sometimes LinkedIn is just one of those spaces that you just go to once, post, get away from. If you know someone on there that is a colleague or a friend and they tag you in a job advert, or they tag you in something, like their content and get out of there. But spaces that are genuine, I think LinkedIn should be one of those spaces. Being a professional space, it should have the truths about workspaces entirely on there, not just the good part, but also everything else that we keep hidden that is already out in the open, I believe.
At Jabali Consulting, we're launching Lead Boldly, a gender transformative CEO toolkit, a practical guide for CEOs, founders, HR leaders, and executive teams in the private sector who want to move beyond policies and actually transform their workplaces. Because gender inequality at work is not just about individuals, it's about systems, power, and everyday leadership decisions. Our Jabali Consulting 5-pillar approach guides you from leadership mindset and power analysis to inclusive leadership, safer culture, and market impact. It's designed to help you strengthen leadership pipelines, improve retention, and boost ESG performance by transforming your systems. If that sounds like your next step, join the waiting list on our website. That is www.jabaliconsulting.com, or click the description link below. Joining the waiting list entitles you to getting early bird discount, receiving exclusive insights, and priority booking on our advisory opportunities. Let's move from intention to real change in our workplaces and businesses. That's interesting. So, LinkedIn used to be where you curate your brand, like you're saying, Shamim.
Yes.
That's the place that you went and grew an organic audience because you curated your brand as who you are. But the Gen Zs are saying, but that's too performative. I think that's what you're saying. It's not honest,
real.
right? So, Sheirat, what would you say is the leadership approach of Gen Zs, just based on your own example, and how do you use social media apart from performing?
Well, I'd say one of our first ones that we actually share with them is collaboration. We love collaborating with each other. If you're in the same spaces, even remotely, we always find our way to each other and we always work together. But also we are very harmonious in a way, which we would not necessarily think can happen because sometimes we're just too loud. It's ruckus here, it's ruckus there. But at the end of all of that ruckus, we will come to a point where it's just harmony and we are working together and everything just threads through. And I believe we have respect for each other, even when we're working together, because much as we can be very different, we are very goal oriented. So at the end of the day, we will respect each other's opinions as long as we come to a consensus and know what we want to do. As long as it is the same thing and we're all aiming at the same goal, it will be harmony all through and through. And we listen to each other. We really do listen. Much as we like exchanging ideas, and we always have new ideas popping up, even when we already have something set and something just comes up and like, guys, okay, this just came through. We will listen, we will digest.
So you pivot.
Exactly.
You're not stuck on one idea.
No, you're not.
You're free to, change your minds and say, oh, okay.
I believe that is how everything should be. You can't do one thing forever the same way consecutively and expect the same results over and over. So sometimes it is allowed for you to just do things a bit different.
So it's more fluid, more agile way of working.
More adjusting. It's very flexible. It's very goal-oriented, but it's also very hands-on, very innovative, very thinking on your feet. Because I think we are just one of that generation where you will tell me to do something in the next 10 minutes that I haven't done, and I will find someone there and then my age to help me, and we will get it done within that time that you've given me. Because, okay, so you need to think fast. We can't be less. We don't like missing deadlines for sure. So we're always just on our feet over and over again.
Interesting. And you're already debunking some of the biases, and that's what I want to move to. What are some of the biases that you've had people having towards your generations? Because especially in the workplace, there are lots of things that people say, these young people, they don't know how to work, right? They don't produce on time. They just want to, you're stressing me. I need a mental health day. So there are lots of challenges and biases. What are some of those you've had in the workplace? Shamim, if you can start.
Sure. There's a little misconception around workplace loyalty versus wellness. So that's why there's been a shift. Organizations and places that understand this trajectory have been able to adjust to remote work, hybrid work. But indeed, most persons who are around this age group, millennials, Gen Zs, are looking for an opportunity to do their work and let them be rated based on their performance, based on the output, rather than time in office, the time that they arrive, the time that they're leaving, or their
come at 8
presence.
a.m. and leave at 5 or 6.
So there's been that demand, and some workplaces have seen it and adapted to it. But yes, it is a bias that some organizations differ from hiring people within this generation because they assume that the work will not get done. Or they will want to sit next to the person and supervise them until the work is done. But things have changed. You can just add me on a Google Meet, and within an hour of training or demonstrating how to do the task, I will learn and I will get it done. So
and you don't have to do it from 8 to 6,
exactly.
Right? Okay.
I want to
So it's performance-based.
Yes.
Output based rather than the time that you're there in the office.
Exactly.
Sheirat, what are some of the biases you've experienced in the workplace?
Okay. First, I would like to go back to the question you asked about how we use media. Most people think Gen Zs only use media for our entertainment. Well, it is a straight reliever. So, it is there. But we use social media to promote our work, be visible enough about our work, post about real world realities. I think that is one of the biggest issues that we have had, because every time someone will ask you, but did you really have to post that? Yes, I did. Are you feeling uncomfortable seeing that gender-based violence is still happening? But this is social media. Yes, it is social media, but this and that is happening. So, and sometimes I think it makes people a bit queasy or inquisitive about why we do that if we feel like social media should be only fun, but social media is a platform to share. It doesn't matter what you share, you are sharing. But you should be conscious enough to know what you're sharing. Are you creating awareness? Are you creating harm? That is the difference. So, but we also use social media to get work. Those comment sections sometimes, just someone posting something about their work and you ask for connections, just in the comment section, oh yeah, so I'm doing ABCD as well. Would you be capable of giving me a volunteer spot? Usually you have to write an email, introduce yourself, attach
But you
your
use
CV.
the social media.
But if social media is right there and a person just says, oh, send me an email if you need to polish your CV. We see that all the time, and people actually do deliver and they give you genuine feedback. If they say 100 people and you're among the 100, they're 100. I've seen that happen. People give genuine feedback. Now, to answer the question on the biases, we are entitled, we are slow, we are soft, we do not understand work. Oh my God, they're endless.
Endless, exactly.
You reach into a space and automatically when someone sees your age, like, but you guys don't like to work. I'm here for an interview. So obviously I do want to work. But if you say I do not want to work, I'd like to understand why you would say that. But it also comes back to the mental health breaks. Personally, I do not understand why I would need to work Monday to Friday from 9 to 5, even on days I have nothing to do.
If you've finished your work already.
It happens a lot. And you show up to work just to swing your legs, turn around in your chair, enjoy the Wi-Fi, listen in on people's conversations, and then go home at 5 having done nothing, because on Monday you came in, were productive the whole day, and you got all your work done. If you had concept notes to write, and the whole time you're waiting for reviews to happen, for someone else to tell you, polish this, edit that, you didn't do this, but you did everything you were supposed to do throughout the day or the week. So it just brings up the whole commotion of you don't want to work, but
Because
why
the
would I
style is
want to show up?
different.
Exactly. Why would I want to show up to work, waste your time and my time, waste resources when I'm doing absolutely nothing? But then at the same time, if I am sending you something and you give me a deadline, can we please adhere to the deadline together? I think they tell us we are pushy because if you genuinely tell me I'm giving you a week to do this and I do it within the week, and then you take your time
to give you feedback.
But I thought we were working on a deadline.
Yes. So
let's
Gen
stick
Z
to
also
that.
want if you say this, keep your word.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
Interesting.
Yeah. But I think the other thing that we are being accused of being is entitled. And that is definitely not true. I think we are one of those generations that have grown up seeing two different generations work, and we have seen what works and what doesn't work. And we have also been in a position where we see people genuinely put in all they have and not get anything out of it. We have seen the people that come to work, show up every day, work in a space for 5+ years and still leave with nothing. No gratitude shown towards them, no loyalty whatsoever. And they're receiving the same amount for the past 5-6 years that they've been there. But if I do my work that I am supposed to be doing, I deserve some recognition, first and foremost. I deserve to be told that I did something good. But what we see in workspaces is that as a young person, I will do something. My manager will take credit for all of it. They will get better pay and I'll still be in the same place. That will automatically make anyone bitter because I am putting in the work. And then you're telling me I'm not doing anything. How does that make sense? So then that makes them think, oh no, Gen Zs are entitled. Now you want to be in spaces that you've not been in. I genuinely know Gen Zs that are graduating their masters at 24, 25. She deserves to be in a bigger space than just being a project officer because she has put in the work. He has put in the work. So, and also the patriarchy is crazy because we always challenge it, and that has also kind of become a problem for us. And so we are told we are too. I don't know why people use feminism as a tool, of hate or, oh, you're a feminist. Gen Z is a feminist, so they don't understand work ethics. No. We are feminists.
It's challenging the system.
We also understand work ethics. But
and I think Gen Zs have been good at challenging the system.
We do all the time.
If you see the recent, social movements like in Kenya, where the Gen Zs are the ones that led the movement towards refuting the changes in the finance bill. Even
now, there's an ongoing one for ending femicide, being led by Gen Zs.
Yeah,
because we question everything.
And so, from what you're saying, Sheirat, the civic, I think Gen Zs are also led by not just purpose but values and wanting civic change to see changes in their society, so beyond them, and they don't understand why should things stay the same, whether in the workplace
and we are then labeled shifty. We are called very shifty because okay, so you're from this space and then you're in that space. Yes, but I would hate to work in a space where I'm just being a downer for everyone. This is what you love doing, but this is not what I love doing. And if I can find something else that I love, I will be in that space and I will be happier doing something I love instead of being somewhere else.
You've mentioned so many things. So even the style of working, so you've touched upon that. And I think, Shamim, you are talking about it, that you don't have, as millennials and Gen Zs, you don't have to always just go to an office for the whole day if you can do something at home for 2 hours, right? So it depends on what are my outputs.
Exactly.
And let's be clear on that and give feedback more regularly. Don't wait until, the annual review.
Yes.
I was reading a news article about this, actually. Someone was talking about an employer who had an employee who used to work with headphones a Gen Z employee who works with headphones in the office, and the employer was getting very mad at this Gen Z working with headphones in the office and, open plan offices.
But the work was getting done.
Yes. So the Gen Z was saying, but why are you mad? The headphones are helping me to focus because I don't want to be hearing everyone's talk.
Yes,
right?
Yes.
While the other team members were feeling that she's being antisocial and whatever. So they were telling her, no, leave the headphones. But she said, if I leave them, then you won't get the work done. So maybe let me work from home because they have less distractions. And the employer said no.
Oh, wow.
So you're not leaving space to come together. And I think there's that tension between the generations, right?
Yeah.
So what are some of the strategies that you think would work to bring the generations closer, to collaborate more, to understand more, especially in the workplace? What would you recommend, or what have you seen working successfully in workplaces that you've seen?
I think for me, the most important would be, intergenerational workspaces only work when there's mutual respect. Half the time, Gen Zs are called mouthy because we offer feedback. And people older than us do not want to hear our feedback.
So it should be two-way.
Yes, because if we are to grow and we are to do what we want to do together, harmoniously, we need to listen to each other. We need to respect each other's views. In the space I've been in, people would always love to say, yeah, we understand Gen Zs, you have the vision, you have the this, but we have the knowledge. Wrong. We all have the knowledge. Yours might be different from mine. Doesn't mean anyone's is less than the other. You are equipped differently, and so am I. If we can sit together, listen to each other, share your views, I share mine, we understand each other, find middle ground, we can work very well together. We just need to understand that we are not the same people. We do not work the same way, which is entirely okay. As long as we are able to work harmoniously without the other putting either one, down, but also understanding where they're coming from. For example, if we are in a meeting and we're coming up with, say, guidelines for students in school to have better mental health, and then I am hearing someone say, as Gen Zs, you can't even say anything about mental health. You do not know what it means growing up in a hectic situation.
In our times.
We are in therapy, so obviously we understand mental health the same way you do. If we are in therapy, it must be in something. So it just takes away the collaboration that would have happened immediately because there's no mutual respect whatsoever. If you do not respect one end, do not expect it to respect you. But at the same time, you're not listening. You're taking your side, and your own deductions are what you're using to inform what you want to do. So in that way, it's just tokenistic, and we're just there as wallpapers to say we had representation, but we're just ticking a box.
So the same way patriarchy uses women as just placeholders and not giving the power. You're saying that young people need to, if you're there, you should be there and have the power and to give your opinions.
Because the moment we sync up, it can be a beautiful thing. But finally, I would say we need to start being more open-minded and flexible. One of our biggest constraints when it comes to working together is neither of us is open-minded. We do not want to listen to you. You do not want to listen to us. And so we'll keep to what we know, you keep to what you know. But for people who have been, in my own opinion, for people who have been in the space this long, they have seen a lot of things. They have experienced a lot. They have the experience. Much as we have the innovation, we have the energy and the zeal to keep going and bring new things that can work. We still need to work together because in order for that to work, give us what you've seen. We can help you find solutions to all of those challenges only if we listen to each other. If I come up with something that you have tried before and it hasn't worked, it's okay. Let's share, tweak it, get back to something else. So open-mindedness and flexibility has to also work on both sides for anything else to be able to work and for there to be harmony and collaboration that works better.
Yeah, all very, very useful. So the importance of mutual respect between the generations, active listening, listen to each other.
Being flexible and open-minded.
Open-minded. I like that. Because I think for the older generations especially, they feel that the young people just want to kick them out. Kick them out and you all go and maybe stay in the village somewhere. And yet the older people say, but we have experience. We can bring something. So I like what you're saying, that both generations can be open-minded and see what can both generations learn from each other.
Precisely. Also because there's the judgment that comes with the way we dress and the way we look, the way we appear. You will have someone ask you, but you have tattoos. Yes. Are you sure you know what you're talking about? Yes, I am. Yes. Because the moment I step onto the stage, do not take my appearance as something that speaks for me. Yes, my appearance speaks for me. I look like this. I have beautiful tattoos. I have beautiful piercings.
But it is who you are. But it's an expression of
my expression. That doesn't mean I do not know what I'm talking about or I am less knowledgeable than anyone else just because I dress a certain way or I do not conform to the way of dressing that people think is the norm of office workspaces kind of dress code. As long as I understand what I'm talking about, I am being respectful, I am presentable, that works enough. So the open-mindedness also has to go beyond that because you can be undermined solely off of what you look like. And yet you have a lot to offer that immediately someone will say, no, I do not think so. Because they associate the way you look to something entirely different. And yet this is my expression and this is who I am.
Yeah. So it's the Gen Zs are also shifting what it means to have workplace attire, to have, how do you appear in the workplace? And, you're saying it doesn't have to be, you don't have to have a uniform way to do it. Your dressing, your appearance is your expression, because again, Gen Zs are creative. So it's your way of expressing yourself, but it doesn't mean you're not smart, you're not, you don't have work ethic. Okay. So Shamim, what would you say are some of the strategies and policies that workplaces can have to have that promote intergenerational collaboration?
Yes, I'll just capitalize on two strategies that I've seen working in the workplace. The first, and I experienced it myself, is the buddy system. So this is an initiative where an experienced person is buddied, meaning they're partnered with someone who has maybe just come into the workspace or clearly needs the support if they have identified that there is a gap. So this way, the person who is older or in another generation or more experienced assumes the position of passing on the information, supporting, helping. And that's really what they want. They want to see that they are valued, that their institutional memory is not being put to waste. So the buddy system has worked, but as recently, there's been a rise in mentorship programs in the workplace. So I've seen quite a number of mentorship programs out of the workplace, like the Girls for Girls initiative. I personally have a mentorship program called the Utopia Thrive mentorship program, mainly targeted towards people getting into their careers. But now within the workplaces, I've been called multiple times to support people who are being paired either with a supervisor or someone who is going towards retirement. But the idea is to pass on the knowledge to create a form of succession planning where it's not offensive that the person who is being taught is going to necessarily take the job. We just want to see that there is harmony. We can easily support someone who's out of office. That way it has been taken more positively. People who are giving the information or supporting have also been protected, because we do have policies such that you cannot let someone go, lay off someone based on performance or restructuring. You have to, first of all, support them through the exit process to ensure that it cannot be contested in the courts of law. So there have been policies within the Employment Act, the HR manuals, to ensure that workers are protected. You cannot come in and assume that you're going to take someone's job just because you're more agile, you're a faster thinker. So that way we have been able to see harmony within the different generations. And yeah, so far we have seen that people who are transitioning out of the workplace can easily get into consultancy. It's not that they are going to sit at home in the village. They don't have any purpose. Yeah, so we've created opportunities for people to join consultancy, join boards, and there have been a push for diversity in those spaces. So that has worked so far.
Yeah. So mentorship programs, very, one of the ways that you can have that intergenerational collaboration, where you're leveraging the advantages of both generations and also the buddy system. And I would maybe just add that mentorship can go both ways. So reverse also, yes, so that reverse mentorship, so that also young people can mentor the older generation. For example, in innovation, in the use of technology, social media. So many ways. So I think as we close the discussion, I want to touch on something that's been on a lot of people's minds, the impact of AI on the workplace. Because when we talk about the future of work, AI is coming in as a disruptor. And if many studies have come up with lots of, I think, worrying scenarios about, AI replacing a lot of entry-level jobs, and those are some of the jobs that young people would be taking. So what are your views around how workplaces can leverage AI in a way that does not disadvantage marginalized groups like the young people or persons with disability or women?
I'd like to think that when AI first started, not a lot of people were open to it because they didn't necessarily see what the use was for you to rely on technology when you can just rely on your own thinking. But I'd like to think that even now, as we're using it, there should be limitations to how often, first and foremost, we are using AI in our work, but also what are we using it for? Those two things should be the number one things that we think about when we're using AI in our work. It is an entirely different thing for me to use AI to take my notes and then submit them the way they are, because AI did that. And it is an entirely different thing for me to take the notes, use AI to polish them, right? Those are two different things. I can sit back, let AI take all the notes, and there's mistakes, there's errors, there's our surnames aren't even seen when you type them into Word documents because they're flagged. So how is AI able to know, oh, Namayanja, Sheirat, even Sheirat will be written wrong, and I do not play about my name. So it needs to be the top priority for workspaces to be able to acknowledge and understand if we need to incorporate AI or technology in our way of working, it needs to be assigned to do A, B, C, D. But when it comes to this, we need humans to be able to do that, because AI might be able to give you a script. AI cannot put emotions into a script. But that is something you can do as a human being. AI will help you have your tasks well arranged from what you're doing from morning till evening, but you're still doing those tasks. However much you rely on it to help you for something, help you on research, where it can be wrong sometimes too. So as long as we do not entirely rely on AI, I think the rest will work itself out. But the biggest issue that we have now is that everyone is relying entirely on AI. I was just complaining about the constant posters that I keep seeing everywhere. Now we are taking work from authentic graphic designers to AI, and we all have the same things. And they look ugly, I am sorry to say. When you keep seeing the same blue wallpaper here, then you see the same one there. The pictures are the same, they're weird, they change your face. It's not the same thing. But when you go to an authentic person that creates these backgrounds, that creates these posters, you can tell the difference. So to me, that is what is the biggest pointer for me. We need to differentiate between authentic work and AI. If AI can help you do certain tasks, leave the tasks that are meant to be done by people be done by people.
Okay. And Shamim?
Thank you very much. That was amazing. My opinion is organizations have learned how to adopt AI policies, because when it was first introduced, it was misused. I would say people were uploading confidential company information into ChatGPT and asking for a summary.
Oh, wow.
I even had a story. I was in South Africa for a conference a few months ago, and it was unfortunate that I had a story in passing that there was one CEO who actually lost his job because of that. He was trying to prepare for a board presentation, and he uploaded the company financials. And when they did the audit and realized that, they asked him to resign. When he didn't, they had to let him go. So it's unfortunate that people have had to fall victim of such circumstances related to AI. But fast forward, organizations, even countries, I had Canada just got an AI minister. So some organizations are actually putting in persons responsible for looking at how to regulate AI usage in the organization, because we cannot forbid it. It's helping us. It's making things easier for us. So I've seen organizations who have a software team that actually develop AI tools similar to ChatGPT, where you can feed in company information and get the support that you need. That way it won't be spread out into the open source network. And that has helped to protect company information and resources. So I'd say that if this can be adopted and worldwide, countrywide, to see that we still leverage on technology, on artificial intelligence to make our work easier. But if there is a boundary that we should not cross, let it be communicated to employees ahead of time. Let people be aware of the limitations as well as the consequences. I'm glad that most conferences, at least HR conferences that I've attended, have this as one of the top agenda items, understanding how to protect the AI users and ensure that...
And also protect jobs because,
Exactly. Yeah, some people assume that because I can ask AI to write a proposal, I don't need a business development executive. Hire a business development executive who knows how to use AI to write proposals faster. So that if originally I was sending out 2 proposals per day, I'm going to get someone who's agile enough to use AI to send out 20 proposals per day. Yeah, I think that's the solution.
So importance of workplace AI policies that show you how to use it in a way that you use it as a tool and still protect, the human jobs that need to be protected. That's interesting. So that also, and it's, I read a study again that a lot of young people, 60% of young people in the US colleges are not exactly, against AI, but against what AI is doing in terms of, preventing. I think the fear for them is that it will make young people less
free
cognitive,
thinking.
less free thinking. It's going to take away, jobs that should be theirs and so on. But from what you're saying, it's how we use it, how we use it and being intentional around AI. Lastly, our last question to you. We ask this of all our guests. What are 3 words that you'd use to describe a gender equal institution?
Okay, let me see. A gender equal institution. I would say first word is just. I feel like that can be missing in a lot of institutions. I would also say considerate. Yeah. And lastly, free. Because those are definitely things I think of when I think of gender justice or gender equality. If a space is free, it is safe. If a space has, justice, then there won't be any worries about if you'll get justice for anything or if you're safe in that environment. So I think, those would be my 3 words.
Good. Shamim, what would be your 3 words?
I would say inclusive, empowering, and loving. Because love really makes the world a better place.
Yes. Yes. Thank you, Shamim and Sheirat, for being our guests today. In today's episode, we have talked about how Gen Z and millennials are reshaping African workplaces, how they are in leadership places, and how they are debunking the biases and challenges that are facing them, and ways in which there can be intergenerational collaboration, as well as how to handle the impact of AI on the workplace, particularly its impact on young people in the workplace. So we've had a great conversation. Thank you both again, and we'll see you in the next one.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You can listen to this and past episodes of the Ubuntu Narratives podcast on the Jabali Consulting website at jabaliconsulting.com/podcast or wherever you get your podcasts. Thank you for listening to the Ubuntu Narratives podcast by Jabali Consulting. Until next time.